My cheating wife yelled, "What the hell are you doing?" I told her I was done and leaving for good. I'll never forget the moment everything changed. The moment I walked through that door, suitcase in hand, ready to leave the house I had built with years of hard work, sweat, and sacrifice. The home that, to me, symbolized love, commitment, and trust. But none of that mattered anymore. It was supposed to be the perfect life, wasn't it? Maria and I met years ago during a business conference in Zurich. She was elegant, sharp, and poised. Everything I admired in a woman. At the time, I was climbing the corporate ladder in luxury hospitality, working 12-hour days, rarely having time to even think about love. But Maria changed all of that. She was a rising star in the finance world, a brilliant mind with unshakable determination. We were a power couple in the making. We spent the early years of our marriage traveling the world, attending galas and living the dream. Our bond seemed unbreakable. But as I became more successful, the cracks started to appear. It wasn't sudden, just small things at first. A late-night email that seemed a little too personal. An unexplained phone call while I was in the shower. I brushed it off, of course. Who doesn't have busy days at work? But I could feel the distance growing, and the once vibrant chemistry between us began to fade. The woman I had once admired for her intelligence and ambition started acting strangely, distracted, secretive, as though she was hiding something. It started with a misplaced message. One evening, I came home early from a business trip. I had planned a surprise dinner for Maria. I walked in, set the table, and waited, excited to spend time together. But when I grabbed my phone to check the time, I noticed something odd. Her phone was on the kitchen counter, buzzing relentlessly. Without thinking, I picked it up just to glance at the screen. A message from someone named Luca, no last name, just Luca. It was brief. "I miss you. Can't wait to see you again." My stomach dropped. I should have ignored it. I should have put it down, but I didn't. I scrolled further back, reading conversation after conversation, each more intimate than the last. Flirty messages, inside jokes, and plans to meet up in the city next weekend. I was crushed, feeling sick to my core. But I had no solid proof. Maybe it was just harmless flirting. But deep down, I knew. I felt it in my bones. When Maria walked in, she smiled at the sight of the dinner I had prepared. But it was different now. That smile felt fake. She didn't even notice the tension in the room as she kissed me on the cheek. We ate in silence, the air thick with unspoken words. The next few weeks felt like I was walking through fog, everything slipping out of focus. I started paying attention, watching her every move. It wasn't paranoia, it was instinct. I knew something was off. I began tracking her routines, asking her questions about her day. Each time, she gave a little too much detail, almost as if she was rehearsing her story. Then, one evening, I found something that broke me completely. I was going through the laundry, folding clothes, when I noticed something strange, an unfamiliar scarf, a soft, luxurious one I had never seen before. It was draped across the back of a chair in our bedroom, as though it had been left there in a hurry. I picked it up, running my fingers across the fabric. It wasn't just any scarf. It was something exclusive, a brand I had seen in Milan on our trip last year. Yet, Maria hadn't bought it. Something clicked in my mind, and the pieces slowly began to fall into place. That evening, I asked her about the scarf. She seemed genuinely confused, claiming she didn't know where it came from. But when I pushed her, she got defensive. Too defensive. The next day, I decided to confront her, but I still didn't have enough to accuse her outright. I was walking on a tightrope, afraid to fall, but terrified of staying in the dark. Take a moment to breathe. This journey is intense, and I know it's hitting deep. If you want to hear more about how our protagonist confronts the painful truth and rebuilds his life, subscribe to Lauren's story. You won't want to miss the rest of this emotional journey as it unfolds. Ready? Let's dive back in and see what happens next. It was a rainy Thursday when everything came crashing down. I had been keeping my suspicions close to my chest, but I was reaching my limit. I had enough. I was going to confront her. I waited until she came home that evening. The moment she stepped through the door, I was ready. "Maria, we need to talk," I said, my voice cold and flat. She gave me a quick glance, a forced smile, and dropped her bag on the couch. "What's going on?" she asked, clearly unaware of the storm coming. I didn't waste time with small talk. "Who is Luca?" I asked. Her face went pale. For a second, I thought I saw panic in her eyes. "What are you talking about?" she stammered. I repeated myself, this time with more force. "Who is Luca? Why were you texting him? Why is his name all over your phone?" She hesitated, and then, as if she realized the jig was up, she sighed and sat down. "It's nothing, I swear," she said, her voice shaking, but I could see the cracks in her composure. I was lonely, okay?" The words hit me like a slap across the face. Lonely? After everything we've been through? After all these years? My voice trembled with anger and disbelief. I couldn't believe she was admitting it so casually. She looked away, ashamed. "It didn't mean anything. You were always gone, always working, and Luca, he was there for me. He understood me when you didn't." My heart was breaking, but I wasn't going to let her off easy. "So, you think I don't understand you? I was building our future, Maria, for us, and this is how you repay me." I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to try to fix something that was already broken beyond repair. But I wasn't going to leave without making her understand the consequences of what she had done. I spent the next few days thinking. I made my plan. I knew what I had to do, and I was ready. I didn't just want to walk away. I wanted her to feel what I felt, the betrayal, the anguish. I wasn't going to leave without leaving a mark. It was that Saturday when everything came to a head. I had spent the morning packing slowly, deliberately. My things were scattered across the room: clothes, books, photos. Maria was out at lunch with her colleagues, and I knew I had the house to myself. Just as I was finishing, I heard the front door open. Maria's voice floated up the stairs. "Hey, I'm back," she called. I stayed silent, my heart pounding. This was it. She walked into the bedroom, expecting to find me on the couch, maybe watching TV. But when she saw the suitcase by the door in the empty closet, her face turned white. "What the hell are you doing?" she yelled. There was no fear in her voice, just anger. I stood up, meeting her gaze for the first time in days. "I'm leaving, Maria. I'm done. For good." Her face twisted in confusion, then anger. "You can't just..." I cut her off. "No, I can't just keep pretending like nothing happened. You've made your choices, and now I'm making mine." Her eyes filled with tears, but they didn't make me feel anything. I was done with the lies, the deceit. I had loved her once, but now all I felt was a hollow emptiness. "I'm leaving, Maria, and I'm never coming back." As I walked out the door, suitcase in hand, I felt a strange sense of calm. I was leaving the woman I had built my life with, leaving behind the memories, the future we had planned, the dreams we shared. But it didn't hurt like I thought it would. The pain of betrayal had burned all the emotions away. It was over, and I was free. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't the betrayal itself. It's the moment you realize you're worth more than the lies.